Hey Gemini, what's going on? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card out is Three of Wands. This Three of Wands is giving me the vibe that like something is going according to plan here. This can be something that you've been sort of planning for a while. You can feel like something is getting fleshed out now, or that I feel like all is going according to plan, actually, like more than anything. Like this is feeling like mastermind energy here, Gemini, with something. You can feel like you're getting close to a completion or it's about to happen. Three of Wands is feeling like I have been plotting in some type of way, I've been organizing in some type of way, I've been prioritizing in some type of way, and that thing is about to be realized. So you're like on the precipice of this. You're either, something is about to happen that you've been putting a lot of work into, and you're like finally going to reach that point. This feels like a more, like less of an immediate plan and more of like a long-term thing, but this feels like you arriving at that destination where it's like the achievement is about to happen. If it didn't happen already, this is about to happen. Some of you, you're like already starting to see this. You can feel like the finish line is sort of materializing, or like the portal is materializing, or the destination is materializing. You know, it's like when you're in the plane and getting closer and closer and it's becoming more real, like that type of thing, or you're running and you're seeing the finish line sort of appear before your eyes. But this feels like it was super calculated on your end. I'm not seeing you be like willy-nilly about this. I'm seeing something that you've put a lot of energy into. It's been consistent. You've been staying focused with this. You have not been deterred. I'm seeing this just feel like a moment where it's like, I thought about it, I planned it, I figured it out, I stuck with it, and now it's actually happening. And you can feel very, this feels like a moment where it's just like, yeah, I did that. Like that's what I'm getting from these cards here with this. So congratulations, or almost congratulations. It feels like just a matter of time for this to be happening if it has not happened already. This is definitely going to feel like an accomplishment, and you will also be seeing the labor of your work, focus, attentiveness, of you putting your energy into something. You're going to see it pay off. So I feel like you kind of knew this all along. This is one of those times too where you can have a vision about something and you're like, you can tell people, you cannot tell people, it doesn't matter, because you know it's going to happen. So whether or not people believe you, you're like, you'll see. This is that moment where it's like, now everybody will see like what you've been doing here. So I'm definitely seeing this be just a moment where you're like, of course, I knew that if I stuck with this, of course this was gonna happen. So cheers to you. I feel too like this was partly intuitive as well. Like you may have definitely like used your logic and determination for this, but seeing Page of Cups on the bottom of the deck feels like you had to also like be in tune and connected to receive messages that you were receiving in order to stay the course for this. So you can feel like I didn't just think my way through this, I felt my way through this too. And you can feel versatile because of that, because you're like, this wasn't just me relying on my ability to be like tapping into my intellectual energy, although that was part of it. You can feel like I was also like spiritually connected, or like intuitively connected to what I was doing. I just get a really happy energy from this. Like this is feeling like Six of Wands energy to me, like a success. But I feel like why I'm seeing the cards that I'm seeing here come out, Three of Wands in the world, like what these cards have in common is that it's like playing the long game, and this is that moment where that thing ends up being realized. So I feel like this took a lot of like, I'm doing this now for the results later, I'm doing this now for the results later, and like now you're seeing the results. So it feels good in that way, because you're like, I can have long-term plans and accomplish those things, and you're really seeing what happens when you stick with something, and you're patient with the process too, because you would have had to be patient for this as well. Like something is really working out here for you. This may be also helping you heal from some other stuff that's been going on. I'm seeing 5 of Cups. What's this 5 of Cups about? This looks like something that you're recovering from, but I want to see why. Because I'm seeing something really majorly be accomplished, but I'm also seeing you look disappointed about something else simultaneously. This may be, I don't know if this has to do with like the same area of your life or this is something else entirely, but I feel like there's something emotionally that you're going through right now. This can either have to do with a person, a masculine figure in your life, or it can have to do with your own role stuff. I feel like even though you're going through something right now that you can be looking at something that went differently than you had hoped that it would go. But I'm also seeing too that it feels like you need to pull through and still do whatever needs to be done while also taking care of yourself and not losing hope and not losing faith. It's interesting to see both of these energies because over here, I'm seeing you doing something like accomplishing something that feels really major, where it's like, wow, look at what you're doing, and this has been like the long-term plan, and something really important is being realized here, where it's like you're graduating or you're achieving something, and it's a big deal because this is something that's been like in the making for a long time. For some of you, 3 years I'm getting, but it can be, just throwing that out there, it doesn't have to specifically be that, but it's something that would have felt like more long-term like that, where there's something that you set out to accomplish, you've been consistent with it, you've been putting the work in, and then you end up seeing that thing happening. For some of you, 3 months. So the beauty in this, the beauty of this is that there's something here for a part of you that feels important. You may also, there's like, it's maybe a duplicity of some sort. It looks like you're also disappointed at the same time. So you can be looking at something and be like, wow, look at what I did and look at what I achieved. And there can also be another part of you that's like, but I'm upset about this thing over here, or I'm still coming to terms with that, or I still can't believe it went like that. It feels like one of those energies. But having 4 of Swords feels like you needing to focus on doing what you need to do for yourself to help you sort of assimilate now with whatever this is that's going on. I feel like it's a sadness about something and needing to come to terms. 4 of Swords is about doing what you need to do to recover from that, to allow you to be in full acceptance, to allow you to integrate it, to allow you to be like owning the way that you feel about something so you can keep moving rather than being stuck there. So feel your feelings fully and then allow yourself to continue, and don't lose your hope here. Like, don't turn anything off, stay connected. Okay, where is this coming from? You're accomplishing something, it's a big deal, but why does it almost feel like something isn't good enough? I think it's because of having a very like stagnant idea of what something was supposed to look like. Like, rather than being open to sort of what it is looking like, there can be a part of you that's like, this didn't align with my expectation, but I had this very rigid idea of what things were going to look like. So it can open you up to seeing that, to seeing where you may have felt very set in a way about something. and how that may be bringing up some mixed feelings for you. Because if you were in a space where you were like, just looking at something for what it is without some of these preferences, you can look at it and feel like, wow, this is a big accomplishment. But because of feeling like something needed to happen a very particular way, that can be like overshadowing your ability to look at this and be like, wow, look at what I did. Look at what I've done. Look at what's happened now. Some of you are feeling disappointed in yourself about something here. There may be something that you regret, but you can feel like it was very hard to show up in this situation. I'm getting a couple different things coming through here. Okay. It really looks like it was the best thing, the way that things have been working out, but there can be a part of you. One, you can feel like you've been battling with something that's been challenging for you to battle. To have the devil here, we can break this down. It can mean a couple different things. One, it can be like an attachment to how you wanted things to be. And in the wake of things not going exactly as you wanted to, you can feel really disappointed because you were like, I was very attached to this expectation. And now I feel like that attachment is being challenged because reality is one thing and my expectation was another thing. And now I'm sort of trying to emotionally reconcile that within me. Also, having 5 of Cups and the Devil can be like, there's a part of me that's having a hard time dealing with this, and so I may be leaning on something that's not the healthiest thing for me, but it's because I'm having a really hard time accepting this. I'm having a really hard time processing this, and so this thing is like helping me to escape from this, or I'm just like feeling better when I'm leaning into it. You know, it's something that can sort of put off the pain of you accepting what's going on, but the pain is still like the underlying, it's still there, you know, like it's not being dealt with. It's kind of like treating something deep on the surface level, and even though you may not have to deal with certain, it can kind of like put off having to deal with that deeper thing, but at the same time, like it's not actually fixing that deeper thing. So you may have something along the lines of that that's going on here. This can be something that helps you like escape from having to be present to something that's difficult that you're dealing with right now, that you're moving through. Heavy emotional stuff. 4 of Swords and Justice feels like bringing yourself back into a space of mental balance, especially when you may have been sort of elsewhere in a different space, or maybe not dealing with something. Having 4 of Swords is like coming to a place where you feel like you can stabilize again mentally. And Justice is about bringing something back into balance that you may feel is in some type of extreme right now. But that's also how you've been dealing with something. Justice is like, this is not the way I want to be living my life, or like I don't want to be dealing with something in this way. I don't actually think it's super effective for me. So how do I bring this back into a middle space rather than on the extremes? Page of Cups and the Hanged Man feels like there's a bit of a transition that you're going through that has to do with messages and feelings that you receive, that you comprehend, and the way that you interpret them. Having Hanged Man here can mean like, oh, when I was getting certain feelings or urges or messages, this is how I was seeing them before, this is how I was understanding them. Having Hanged Man shows that there's going to be a shift with the way that happens, and this can even be like the way that you deal with your emotions, the way that you deal with your urges, the way that you deal with insight that you receive, how you interpret those things, and then how you respond to them as well. Because Page of Cups too can be like, okay, I'm hearing this message and I'm seeing it like that, but then having the Hanged Man is like, there's so much more. You can receive something that even feels simple, and you can look at it and feel like, okay, like what more could this be saying? But the longer you spend with it, you'll see it like unfold more and more and more, and there's more depth that you can go within that to really understand what's going on. I feel like this ties back to the Four of Cups. So Four of Cups is that moment where it's like, this is what I wanted versus this is how things are. And that thing being something that we're sort of bringing those things together with one another to integrate them. This is what I wanted, this is what happened, and now I'm reconciling these things. But there can be a part of you that there's an even deeper message within that is speaking to you, and you may have interpreted it one way initially, and there's going to be a deeper interpretation that you will get from this. But first you have to be in a stable place mentally. And when I say stable, I mean like centered, rested, feeling like recharged in any way you need to be, and then you're going to be able to sort of look into this and be like, what is the deeper message behind this? What's the deeper symbol behind this? What is the deeper meaning behind this? And you're going to be able to go so much deeper than you were going before. Before, when it was like you just go an inch down and it became too much, and then sort of covering it up with something. This is about bringing you into a space where you're like, feeling like you're doing what you need to be able to deal with this, or be mindful of this, or sort of care for this process that you're going through, and then be able to tackle it. Because I think that you're going to see like, oh, this actually meant this, and it meant like deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're sort of going to go down a rabbit hole, it seems, with that. And this all has to do with your internal stuff, is what I'm seeing, like what you're interpreting, what you're picking up on, those types of things. Because I feel too, with Five of Cups and the Hanged Man, this can be like a smoke screen kind of. And then when we move to a place of, let me go beyond just the way that I'm feeling from a reactionary space. And when I say reactionary, I mean like when you have expectations and something doesn't meet your expectations, the like go-to emotion that sort of responds to our state of mind is like, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling disappointed, I'm having a hard time accepting this. Having Hanged Man shows that there's something even deeper for you to go into that's connected with this, but it's going to be hard to see if you're not in the right state of mind to actually be able to, be willing to, and be in the right space to, be present to, go deeper into that. So it's like Five of Cups, which is that sadness, disappointment, I'm still like not really getting over this, I still feel upset about it. Five of Cups feels like that's just scratching the surface, and there's something much deeper that's meant to be interpreted, that's meant to be pulled from a spiritual perspective. But having the Devil and the Page of Cups is something that's sort of fogging your ability to interpret. But the reason why you're doing this thing, that a symptom of it is going to be fogging your ability to understand things, to perceive things properly, accurately, with truth, is because you're having a hard time dealing with something. So this is going to help you like go in deeper and to really understand. I get to like, Devil can be a coping skill that you're using, like a coping mechanism that you're using here. But it's like blocking you from getting a deeper truth from something, and from pulling like a deeper, you can be getting some of it, like there's some stuff that you're picking up on, but I'm getting that there's deeper stuff that you can be going into. But the Devil is that part of you that's like something that you're coping with, like is not allowing you to go into that deeper space, and that's what's going on. I feel like if I say this again, it's just going to get redundant at that point, but just know that if you're feeling upset about something and the way that you're coping is something that fogs you in some way, or numbs you in some way, or blocks you in some way, makes things bearable, yes. It is a coping strategy. You're not doing it for no reason. But by bringing this back into a middle space, because it may be a very extreme way that you're taking like matters into your own hands, if you can bring this back into a centered space, you're going to be able to pull so much more meaning from this thing that you're going through. And it's not just going to be a sad thing anymore. There's so much more to it. And there's so much more that you can work with too. So if you're craving something deeper, this is definitely the way to go. You need to bring something that's extreme back into a middle space. Even though you've been using it for a reason, it's been to help you cope with something. But at the same time, it's been fogging other things. So this is the thing to tackle here. That's what the advice is. It's going to help clear things up about your future for you. And it's also going to help you look at what you've accomplished and where you are right now and see the beauty within that. And be able to actually like appreciate that within yourself, and also give yourself credit too, in a way that you may not be giving yourself credit because you've been being really hard on yourself, where you're like, well, I was supposed to cross the finish line with my right foot first, and you ended up crossing it with your left foot. And so you're like, so a win isn't actually a win, you know, but this is something that's going to help you see like you cross the finish line though. So it's gonna like help open up. I'm seeing like an onion here, so it feels like peeling back the layers. Future stuff that may be feeling confusing now, that is going to be cleared up. Major insight that you're going to get from this. And also easing up on yourself too, which is going to allow you to open yourself up to yourself. And it's going to clear the pathway, because you could also be feeling a bit blocked right now mentally. This is going to help you reconnect with that energy and strengthen it, so you feel back in like the best working space mentally. Like everything's functioning the way that it's supposed to be, and that you sort of get like your vibe back is what I'm getting from this, in a way that you may be feeling like disconnected from that right now. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.